Well, these bloody pants. I think I put on some weight.
I think let's check in. How is Nols doing today? It's Tuesday, you've travelled for a week. You've probably had a busy week.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Very tired, to be honest. Yeah.
Very tired.
Cape Town was lekker. It was good.
Yeah.
We had a nice family outing with the kids and the wife for a wedding in Stellenbosch. It was actually quite nice because it was one of our business partners' son's wedding.
Yeah.
So I didn't know a lot of people at the wedding. It was quite lekker. So it was actually a nice time for just my wife and I to spend together, you know. We didn't actively try and go and make too many friends at the wedding. I mean, obviously you meet people and so forth, and I didn't get too loose either, so that was good, out of respect. But it was actually lovely. It was at that Cavalli estate, and lovely weather. We were lucky. We took our helper with Ayanda, who's an absolute angel, and she looked after the kids for that night. And we went on Friday. Saturday we had the wedding. Saturday morning we went to a wine farm with the kids, and my son was actively trying to catch all the ducks, and I actually caught a few, to the dismay of some of the other restaurateurs. Some big lady shouted at him, but he got a fright of his life. It is what it is, but he had a jaw.
Yeah.
And I went to the wedding. Had a lovely week. Well, my wife and them left on Sunday again, so they had quite a hectic time. She had to get back because she's finishing her house, finished building the house that she's project managing here. And she had to move in this week, so she had a tough week, very tough week. We picked up a fight with the builder during the week. We had to chase the builder off site. We're probably going to have some litigation with the builder now, unfortunately. We've moved into a house which is 90% done, except it doesn't have a front door yet. But other than that, it's livable.
I was going to say it's a good segue.
Yeah, it's livable. But we happy and But Cape Town, I stayed behind, did a bit of business, had a few very interesting meetings, looking for opportunities. I like unique things, and I think Cape Town at the moment it's exploding, and I think it's going to continue to just get better and better. It's seen as this incredible metropolitan city. Yeah. We've got the semigration of Joburgers all moving down because of COVID. I think that's going to continue, albeit I don't think it's going to be there forever. But what's really interesting to me is the amount of foreigners that are increasingly want to go there, the cruise ships that are there, the super luxurious yachts that are pulling into the waterfront. I actually I didn't book my accommodation for the week prior to being there, except for the weekend, for the wedding weekend. So I was sitting on Sunday quickly booking some accommodation. I couldn't find anything.
Wow.
And I found this fancy Bantry Bay house that they were Airbnb-ing rooms in it, and I thought, geez, okay, this is quite good. And it was the cheapest thing I could find, well, barring living in a complete slum, or a hippie slum, but I went there, so I arrived at 10 o'clock at night into this thing on the Monday, and I checked in, and it's this awesome house, like in the top part of Bantry Bay.
Yeah.
And then the caretaker lady came out, and she said, okay, you're in the garden room. So when she said that, I should have actually realized that, hold on, there's not a lot of gardens in Bantry Bay, it's on cliffs. So there I am with my massive bag, and she takes me around the side of the house. It's like the service steps or something. And I'm not scared of heights or stairs, but, if I fell there, I would have been dead. It's like 5 stories like this. So that was interesting. Almost put out my shoulder trying to get down there with my bag. Get to the bottom, and it's like big, it's beautiful views over all of Cape Town.
Yeah.
And she opens the door of this big room, and this waft of mold just hits me. And I walk in there, I'm like, oh my God, it's 10 o'clock at night. And I was instantly just thinking, this feels very much like a place that wealthy oaks bring their prostitutes for the night. It had it's like the furniture, the floor was black carpet. It was white and shiny black stuff. And I was like, oh, I don't know about this. I was contemplating. I went on my phone, tried to look for something else. 10 o'clock at night. My brain wasn't even working. I was so tired. So I went and lay down in the bed. It was a comfy sleep. But that morning I woke up, my whole chest was buggered. Wow. And I had to do another, what was it? I had to do another week there. So I wouldn't have been able to do that. Wow. So yeah, thank goodness that afternoon I went out for lunch, tried to find something, went to the gym, went to the fancy silo gym there in Waterfront, went for a sauna to try and clear out my lungs. Found some, went for a nice lunch, found some accommodation, thank goodness, at the Cape Royal apartment building, the only apartment available. I mean, there's 98% of hotels in Cape Town were out over this period. There's nothing available. And yeah, had a lovely week and a lot of business, saw some friends, ate some nice food, but you know, eating out is all right, but it's not that great when you don't have family with you, you know. So, but yeah, hectic week, got back here on Monday morning and just had to go and first see my new house that we moved into. I haven't been there yet. So it was great. And just passed out on the bed, try to catch up on some sleep. And here we are today, and I'm still feeling like death. I'm like dead.
I know you love your afternoon naps. Did you manage to get some there?
Yeah, I got an afternoon nap, albeit with the guys on the roof busy hammering nails and stuff into the ceiling. But I did get a nap. But it's always this time of year, you know, end of the year, you get to a point where you're physically so drained. Yeah. I think it's emotional. You're emotionally drained, physically drained. Everybody is rushing. Everybody is wanting to finish before December. Yeah. There's a lot of pressure being applied from everyone, and people are on a knife edge. So that emotional or that stress level makes it very difficult to even be physically active. I went with all good intentions to Cape Town. I took all my protein shakes because I'm trying to lose some weight. You know, 2 protein shakes a day and only 1 big meal. Went to gym, as I said, that first day. Yeah. The rest of the week, I was like, bugger that. I woke up in the morning feeling like I ran a marathon. You know, I was like, and I'm not getting better. I was like, no ways, I'm not going to the gym. So it's almost like your body doesn't want to, doesn't get better or doesn't repair itself properly when you've got such high stress levels. We're just keeping pushing.
It's interesting, like, obviously as a CEO, you've got a lot of things coming at you all the time. Everybody wants your attention. Yeah. You've got to do what you've got to do outside of like looking at the business holistically. And then you had the week that you had in Cape Town. So coming back to, I don't know, like I think balance is a tricky word.
Yeah, there's no such thing.
It's a very tricky word, and it's like you're running on fumes, you're exhausted. How do you not manage it, but like how do you, I would say, come back to center in a way and still make good business decisions, you know, make sure that you are in the right headspace when you are doing your things and also just managing all the other aspects of all the businesses that you own?
Yeah, so coming back to center, I mean, I think that's an ideal. It's a concept, which is the way of describing where you'd want to be. Yeah. But I think being centered, you need to measure it over a period of time. You know, over a long period of time, the ocean is a certain level, although, okay, let's not factor in global warming. But there are high tides and low tides every day. Yeah. So, you know, over the long term, the level is not necessarily increasing much. But every day there's ups and downs, there's wind, there's waves, there's calm days. Yeah. So I think in the long term you're trying to maintain a balance, but that's impossible to do in the short term. I know a lot of people have an expectation of always staying centered, almost like in a Zen state. Yeah. And I've met people like that and I've tried that, but what I find is that those people become extremely rigid in life, not being open to new things. They solely rely on their conscious brain to plan out their journey, and if anything doesn't fit in that, it doesn't. They push it aside.
Yeah.
And I think, in business and in life, opportunities need to be grabbed. Whether it's religious, when you say, what was that thing in the Bible when the people were saying God was going to come to their door, so they prepared a banquet, and then a beggar would knock on the door, and the guy would show away the beggar and tell him, no, I've got important guests coming.
Yeah.
A few times,
Yeah.
and then at the end of the night, God came, and he said, well, I've actually been here 3 times, and each time you showed me a way. So you got to be open to opportunity and listen to life. Whether you call it luck or opportunity, whatever it is, you got to be able to be flexible. You got to know where you're going, but you got to use the opportunities as they come to get an advantage. So staying in a Zen stage I think it's very difficult, and it's great to do that, but you're going to limit your growth if you do that.
That's interesting. I'm curious around how does it impact your physical well-being when you're on the go all the time, a little bit of sleep. You've got to, the role requires making quick decisions, and it requires exactly what you're speaking about now. Does it catch up with your health over a period of time, and how do you manage that?
Yeah, 100% it does. Life is it's give and take, cause and effect.
Yeah.
If you want to have a 6-pack when you're 50, good luck, but you're probably in all likelihood not going to be a billionaire, vice versa. So you've got to choose where your priorities are, what you're going to devote yourself to. And once again, a balance. But Elon Musk doesn't achieve what he does by having a balance. The guy sleeps on the factory floor sometimes. Yeah. He flies hundreds or thousands of, I think I saw something the other day, he did 400 and something flights in 2018 in his jet. There's 365 days a year.
That's crazy.
1,500, I think it was 1,500 hours. Now, to make a jet for a businessman of that level, to justify a jet, they say if you fly more than 350 hours a year, that means you justified in buying a jet. You flew 1,500 hours. There's no balance in that.
No.
There's no balance in a guy like A.B. de Villiers, who practiced, cricket non-stop, who's constantly doing that. Tiger Woods, all these people, there's no balance. Their balance is trying to, over the long term, keep on improving. So their balance comes down to, taking a break, but with the main goal of getting the machine going again and maintaining the machine. So I try and do that. I try and be physically active. Got a personal trainer. I book him for 3 times a week, but if I get there twice, it's a lot if I'm in plate. But I love it. That physical activity is good for your brain, so I'm all for it and for your health. I'm not an extremist when it comes to physical exercise, but I really enjoy it. I do boxing as well twice a week, so I love that. Found a nice guy here in Plet, awesome old school boxing trainer, so I'm really getting into that again. But that's not my main goal in life, so those things take backseat to everything else. They are very important though. And then with regards to diet, very difficult. We eat healthy as a family. My wife is I don't want to say a fitness fanatic, but she's the most disciplined fitness person I've ever seen. She's up every morning 5:30 on the treadmill. She eats very clean, not a lot of sugar, not a lot of fat. She makes lovely home-cooked meals, and our maid, chef, makes a lot of home-cooked meals, lovely food for us. So we don't eat a lot of junk and processed things. Well, the kids maybe do. They eat everything and anything. But it's just, we like boerenkos, so typical Afrikaans boerenkos, cooked food. But what the funny thing that I've seen with myself is I go into a December and I let loose. So for a month, from the 15th until the 10th or 15th or 15th, I'm not worried about what I eat, drink. I eat a lot. whatever I want, eat out a lot,
Yeah.
chocolates, whatever.
Yeah.
And after December, I'm usually skinnier than what I am when I went into December. But when I investigated a bit with my doctors, they said, well, it's your stress levels.
Yeah, I was going to say.
You know, the cortisol that builds up during the year with the stress, your body's not coping with that. You're not going to lose fat.
Yeah.
And when you relaxed, you're active and you're relaxed, and you know it's much easier.
What is your, I would say, core foundations in terms of your personal life and your professional life that kind of hold you in that space as a CEO?
Yeah, I mean, we spoke previously on, you know, family, faith,
Yeah.
your core beliefs.
Yeah.
I think those are the reasons why I do what we do. But I mean, I need to just say, I don't manage 12 businesses. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I get competent people to manage these businesses, and then it's a combination of incentivizing the right person
Yeah.
and assisting them where they need to, being with them, backing them 100%, provided that they perform and they are fully committed. You know, it's a bit of a carrot and a stick type of thing, you know, and that's how people work. But we work together, and I hate using the word family, because at the end of the day, blood is your family. But I think the culture in our business, you've seen it now firsthand.
Yeah.
It's been an adjustment for you as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a bunch of large personalities,
Yeah.
and it's like a smarty box of personalities. But it's great, you know. You got to fully commit to it
Yeah.
and jump in, and then you see. But it's like a roller coaster. You got to, and this thing doesn't stop. You've got to jump in and hold the fuck on, you know. So it's a big adjustment. You know, I think you've been trying to have a lot of structure, which is good.
Podcast is not about me.
But I'm just saying, you know, I'm using you as an example, and you know, you've got to almost like, woo, let go,
Yeah.
and just go with the flow,
Yeah.
but know where you want to go, you know. But yeah, so that's on the management side of managing businesses. But then on, I think you said regarding maintaining a balance or that flow state. As I sit here at the moment, I got no flow state, to be quite honest. I get sporadic moments of extreme concentration and flow.
Yeah.
Let's call it flow,
Yeah.
or Zen state. But overall, I'm being bombarded at the moment with quite a lot of stuff. I've put a little bit too much on my plate, but it's also the time of year. My capacity to take that bombardment is a bit low, so my immediate response, if I don't watch myself, is an emotional response. We're quick to anger, and then, you know, so that, you know, take a bit of time and think about something
Yeah.
before you react.
Yeah.
You've got to try and remember that. You know, sleep on it. It's very. If you don't know what to do nothing.
Yeah.
That's a big thing in my life. But at the moment, as I sit here at the end of the year, I'm not in a flow state. We're just trying to hammer everything through. You know, it's like a runner at the end of the thing. You know, your form has gone out the window at the last 100 meters. You're just literally running on determination and hoping your legs don't give in.
Yeah.
So that's where it is.
Yeah.
And I know we'll get back to a flow state, you know, in January, more strategic thinking, reassess where we want to go for the next 12 months,
Yeah.
and then it's all over again. But it's fun, you know. But at the moment, it's, you know, flat out and hoping the wheels don't come off. Just holding on, you know, fixing it as it breaks.
Yeah.
It's no. Yeah.
That's the thing about business,
No.
you know, like, you know, you were using the analogy of like, you've just moved into a new house and you don't have a front door yet,
That's it.
right? You just, every day just gotta keep pushing forward.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta know you're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mentioned to you the other day, you know, sometimes you got to build the house while you're living in it.
Yeah.
I think it was Jack Welch, the famous CEO of General Electric many years ago. He said, sometimes you got to build the plane while it's flying. And yeah, you don't. It's not. That's not the way you want to do everything.
Correct.
You don't want to just fall into everything and just start going. I've also seen that go horribly wrong.
Yeah.
And that's a recipe for disaster over the long term if you keep on doing it that way.
Yeah.
But sometimes that is what you have to do. Opportunity will pass you by, or you just don't have a choice. You know, what's it? One of those Ocean's 12 movies or Ocean's 11 movies where they said, I think it was Brad Pitt said to George Clooney, said something along the lines of, we should never do these jobs, you know, when we're forced to do it. But the problem is, when you're forced to do it, you're forced to do it.
Yeah.
You know, you have to do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is how it is. You've got to deal with it.
A lot of what I'm hearing in terms of just your role as a CEO, what you have to face every day, the spaces that you find yourself in. A lot of it is around, you have to be present and go with what is right now. You obviously have self-awareness around how you're impacted, right?
Well, you think you do. You try and as well as you can, you know. Yeah.
Correct, but I'm speaking about you specifically. You know, you can notice when you're tired. You can notice when you're exhausted and you don't have to respond in anger or just sleep on it. You know, that takes a level of awareness. And when you're going to do something, you just got to do it.
That's it.
Right, and obviously with the end of year pressure, there's the added pressure, and then managing that effectively. But for, I'd say, the budding CEO, the upcoming CEO, if there's one, obviously you've got challenges that you face. If there's one piece of advice that you could give somebody who is aspiring to be in property development as a CEO, an upcoming CEO, what would your advice be to them?
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I mean, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but okay.
Yeah. I'll give you 30 seconds. I'm joking.
Yeah, but I mean, would I do it again? Yes.
Okay.
I'd choose my life over again,
Yeah.
100%. But I've grown to love what I do.
Yeah.
But you've got to be very, confident, or what do you call it?
Have some hair in your balls.
Eh?
Have some hair in your balls.
Yeah, but then you got to, but you know, being brave is one thing, but knowing that you really want it.
Yeah.
Because a point in time is going to come where there's no reason why you're going to go, why the hell am I doing this?
Yeah.
And I quit on something sometimes, not in terms of business, but other things I'm trying.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to become a deep sea fisherman. I love fishing, or I started to love fishing. But I get so bloody seasick every time I go in the sea that I started torturing myself. And I just get to a point, I'm probably going to torture myself again in future. I've got a fishing boat that's standing there and going. But, you know, like you get to a point sometimes where you're sitting on the sea and either it's your boat and you're coaching over the side the whole time.
Yeah.
And you're going, what the hell is the point of this? You know, I'm not trying to make a business out of this.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be having fun.
Yeah.
I am creating some memories, but it's not really memories which I'm like, I'm going to laugh at myself later, but how much torture should I be taking?
Yeah.
So the point is just you got to make sure that the juice is worth a squeeze. And for an entrepreneur, not just in property, in any business, you've got to make sure that you want it. It does come with benefits. It does come with a lot of downside.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there's nobody else to blame except you. You can't say, oh, I had a bad boss, or this or that. You can't say, I got a bad deal.
Yeah.
There is luck involved in everything. But at the end of the day, a deal went wrong. You still decided to go into that deal.
Yeah.
You decided to, you know, there's so many different variables in anything in life. You're the one that makes the decisions. The buck stops with you. And I think that scares a lot of people, and it scares yourself because there's nobody to go cry and ask, bail me out.
Yeah.
So that's a scary part of it.
Yeah. A lot of accountability there.
Yeah, and you're responsible for people.
Yeah.
If the business fails, you've got people that are looking at you for their livelihoods. They've got children, they've got families, they've got sick parents, they've got dreams and aspirations, and they're sacrificing their youth for you, for a paycheck. So they're giving the best time of their lives to be part of your team.
Yeah.
And that's a hell of a big responsibility.
Yeah.
You know, So that's the thing. It's a difficult thing to do, but it's fulfilling in small parts. It's like small parts of fulfillment and a hell of a lot of pain.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth it in the end of the day.
What's the fun part about being a CEO? Honestly.
Well,
Is it fun?
it's lovely to create something.
Yeah.
I'm a guy with a fairly good imagination.
Yeah.
I love finding ways to compete and outcompete people. And in business, the rules aren't as cut and dry as in sport, let's say. So you can have a lot of creativity in how you fight or how you compete. Creativity is very important. If you really want to, make it, get out there. And I'm not talking about hocus pocus creativity. I mean, think about a guy like Elon Musk. He's one hell of a creative guy.
Yes.
I doubt whether he can paint a Picasso, but this guy went and decided he's going to build a space company, SpaceX. He can do better than what NASA can do. Looking back now, you're going, oh, that actually makes complete sense. Holy shit, that old cat to have he's got to have massive balls and incredible creativity, and on top of his intellect.
Yeah.
So I could never wish to be in the same league as somebody like that. I wasn't given the intellect that a guy like that has. I don't have the IQ of a person like that. But I'd love to try and do what he has done in terms of, building a new industry, breaking barriers in my little level that I operate in.
Yeah.
So, that's amazing. So creativity is extremely important.
Yeah.
It's and I just want to say one thing. I'm not some tough person that can just keep on going. You when you get hit, you get hurt. And I'm not a guy who will sit here and say, I wake up at 4 a.m. and discipline. Discipline is part of it, but if you break, you break. Your brain is your main asset. I mean, it's the most important thing. If it's not working properly, you're going to make the wrong decisions. You're not going to achieve your goal in business or in any sport or anything in life in general. But I get help. I've got a full-time performance psychologist. We've got the company, but myself, we've got a full-time performance psychologist, like what a rugby team or a sports team would have, to help me, keep me on the path, give me a little trick to try and get out of my own head, give me some perspective. I mean, I've had panic attacks. I think I mentioned in one of the things. I've had the amount of stress that I've taken over the last 12 years has affected me mentally. Depression, I was hit hard with depression. And I'd like to say I can just wish it away. I think the Afrikaans mentality of, just toughen up. You can't fight that. You're fighting yourself. The amount of stress, all of the stress non-stop, it's like a slow bleed, and it affects everything. Mental functioning, hormone production, weight loss. So I look at myself and I say, listen, I know what I'm doing. I'm choosing this. I'm not complaining. I'm not saying, feel bad for me. But I'm choosing this route. It's what I want to do. Judge me whether you think it's right or wrong. I don't really care. This is what I want to do. But with that, you've got to maintain yourself. So the physical exercise, the emotional support, the external stuff. I mean, something which really changed my life recently, and it was about a year ago, and I'm referring to Elon Musk in this conversation a bit, but he made a comment regarding ketamine therapy. And I've been a guy, I've never taken a drug in my life. I've never smoked weed. I think once when I was a bit drunk, I smoked half a cigarette. I've smoked cigars, but you don't really inhale them, eh? So I don't know if it counts. But I've never taken a drug in my life. I don't know what it's like to be high. But a while back, I was reading I like to read a variety of information or things out there, provided that it's stuff that's credible and good. But I read something about depression and the effects. I think it was one of the London medical universities did a study on psilocybin, the magic mushrooms, and giving that to people with severe depression.
Yeah.
And how after 1 or 2 sessions, those people went for like 4 years without depression.
Wow.
So that interest piqued my interest a bit, or piqued my interest. But I'm quite scared of, like, I don't want to go and lie in the forest and look at the ceiling and pop a mushroom.
Yeah.
And I was very scared of, is it going to change who I am fundamentally? I don't want to wake up going, oh, now I'm going to give away all my earthly possessions and go and run around barefoot. I didn't want to go and do that, so I was quite scared of that. But then Elon Musk, on a clip, he spoke about, how he, on a regular basis, as and when he feels that stress is getting too much, he actually goes for ketamine therapy.
Wow.
And I was like, shit, that act's much smarter than I am.
Yeah.
I don't blindly follow what people say, but I mean, that guy's pretty clever.
Yeah.
And if he's researched this thing, he can understand the molecular science behind it.
Correct.
And if he finds benefit with that, I thought maybe I should try it. And I went and I tried it, and it was life-changing. I don't do it often, maybe once, as in when I feel like. I do it in Joburg at a doctor there that is a specialist in it. And they do it the right way. It's like a quiet room. They put some of these binaural sound music on, and it's awesome. And I mean, it's a medically prescribed type of doses. It's not getting high, and it's every time after that it reset my stress completely, and it almost like helps your brain sort itself out, just like a pause and a reset button.
Yes.
And for me, the interesting thing, every time I've been under or went for that therapy, I mean, it's 45 minutes.
Yeah.
The one common thing that comes through is love. And I don't know, it's weird. I'm not a soft guy, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I'm not a soft guy, maybe I am, but yeah, like love for my family. And it's weird, but that's made a big difference to me. So I think the point is, in anything you do flat out, there's going to be injury.
Yeah.
And you've got to maintain it. You've got to fix the injuries. You've got to be self-aware.
Yeah.
And you've got to fix it. And so that's what I try and do, as best as I can.
Do you hear that, folks? Awesome. Okay. I think we have finished up.
No, thanks, Faith.
Yeah.
Was it up to your expectation?
Yeah, it's good to reflect on these things, eh? I've been very reflective recently as well. Just it's the weirdest thing. It's like I have these moments where I'm just reflecting on like life as a whole. Thinking of my parents, thinking of my partner, thinking of my time left on earth. It's just like these weird things that just come out of nowhere, and so you remind yourself you've got to make the best of every single day. No matter what you're doing, no matter how hard it is, shit's gonna come your way.
Yeah, hard is something which is relative, eh?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's to each its own.
Yeah.
People respond to it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Hard is relative to the worst you've faced up to date.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Next time doing the same thing isn't hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's actually making you grow.
Yeah.
Surviving it.
Yeah.
I something I learned, or that my wife and I, when we faced a bit of difficult stuff, is God doesn't put anything in front of you can't handle.
Yeah.
So just keep on going.
Yeah.
You'll handle it. What's that? The Best Marigold Hotel, where the guy says, everything will be all right in the end, and if it's not all right, it's not the end.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
I think that's it's cool sayings and things to remember.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, just fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck color, no, fuck them. If people want, you can't make everybody happy.
Absolutely not. No.
You don't go out in life trying to harm people. You don't go out there trying to upset people.
Yeah.
But I do what is right for me, and you are going to upset people, 100%. If you're pushing hard, it's changed. And I'm not a physicist, but any system that is, if you're going to change a system, there's a lot of force against the change.
Right.
That's just how it works. So you got to suck it up, and
Yeah.
you got to make sure that what you're trying to change is worth changing.
Yeah.
But that's it. It's not that complicated. Go out there. So an entrepreneur or a business guy wants to start a new business, whether it's property or anything else. If you really want to do it, go and do it. That's it. I mean, and it sounds so cliche, but it is. Go and do it. It's going to be bloody hard, but take it as a challenge. See how much pain you can take. And you can take a hell of a lot more than you think you can.
Yeah.
And that's it. The people that make it to the top are people that have just learned to embrace the pain, or learned that the pain that is coming is actually not pain. And also, when you're really good, not that I am, but what I try and look for is when a problem, there's no such thing as a problem, it's an opportunity. Problems are things that people think, oh my gosh, this is the problem. Every problem I get, it's interesting. I'm saying, well, everybody else who's tried this had the same problem, and a lot of people quit at this level.
Yeah.
So let me just go one more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the further I get,
Yeah.
you're going to get this. Everything's possible, so you're going to get to your goal.
Yeah.
But the harder it is, the better, because it means everybody else can't copy you.
Yeah.
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 So nothing in life worth doing is easy.
And that you learn from experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can only learn it through experience. You can read as many books as you want, and books are great, or information. It's great, but you got to go and apply it. You can read as much as you want about boxing or karate. You got to go and do it.
Yeah.
You can't. So, and that's unfortunately the thing. I had a mate of mine, a school friend, that lovely guy that I had lunch with in Cape Town, and we were talking about life and business and doing things, and we were talking about famous and successful people and motivation and all these boring subjects. But one thing that I was fortunate enough to learn early on, is that it's very important who you let into your brain. A lot of people today, the world is full of so much info. Here we're sitting giving the world info. But who's to say that I know what I'm talking about? And so many guys out there are these motivational speakers who've achieved absolutely fuck all in their lives. They're successful motivational speakers, but what the hell, you've got to look at the incentive for that guy. He's trying to sell you a product, and he'll spew any bullshit that he can. He's got no experience. He maybe read some books, and he's just regurgitating it. And now you're listening to it. These guys out there, and if I could just help a few people not listen to assholes like that, I'll be happy. Because this friend of mine was talking about this successful guy and that successful guy, and these guys that are like, this guy's a billionaire and he's so successful. And I said to him, I'll bet you $1 million this isn't a billionaire. I mean, $1 billion, and it's dollars. And I was like, that's a lot of money. And this is a guy who's got a podcast, and he does self-help. I'm like, where the fuck did this get a? You might have told somebody he's a billionaire, and then they go on Google, he's a billionaire. Prove it. Bullshit, man. These bullshit artists out there. It's irritating, and people. COVID, you saw that people struggle to differentiate between what's true. It's very hard. Critical thinking. I never knew what critical thinking was. I did it as a course when I did my MBA, and I thought, oh my God, what a bunch of nonsense. And then COVID happened, and I was like, holy shit. People don't know how to distinguish, or it's not even distinguish, it's how to try and distinguish between things that are probably true and things that are not true at all. You say in Facebook, Elon Musk said buy crypto, and the average oak says, oh, Elon Musk said this because it must be true. They put it on, it's a complete lie. Or a study shows that you're more likely to live longer if you eat vegetables.
Yeah.
Which study? By who?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, then you click on these things, and it's like some vegans to save the world study. Like you know, and it's so much bullshit out there. It's scary.
Yeah.
So fucking hell. I feel you got to be very closed and guarded. I only listen to people that have done things, achieved things.
Yeah, I mean that's a very powerful lesson. We are constantly bombarded with stuff via social media. It's actually quite something.
A lot of people that teach, unfortunately, and I'm not generalizing, but that saying with those that can't do teach, that applies to a lot of people. Professors, academia, and today people online. And I'm not saying that's everyone, so please.
Yes.
But the vast majority of them, what the textbook says and what the real life is, it's not the same, but it rhymes. You know, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. A similar thing can be applied to that. It's good to have that info, but you've got to, apply it in your specific thing. So it's difficult.
We are officially done.